Hi, my name is Viviana. I'm a film photographer, and today I'll be working in my darkroom. If this is your first time here and film photography is very new to you, well, then I'm so excited that you're joining me for this darkroom session. And if you've been here before, I'm very, very thrilled to have you back. I'm really excited to share all my moments with you guys. And today I will be making a contact sheet and later on also making a final silver gelatin print using fiber-based paper. So the negatives I'll be working with were the ones I developed last week, and they are portraits of my cousin Millah. I'm so excited to make a print. I am starting off with RC paper for my contact sheets. So I unfortunately did order glossy. It was a big mistake on my part. I normally really like working with, I forget if it's if it's pearl or luster. But my confusion came because when I order fiber-based paper, I buy glossy, but not when it's RC. So, oh well. And my temperatures for the chemistry and the water are all set. I am ready to get going, which was kind of a struggle because it's extremely hot right now. I live in Mexico and my darkroom gets pretty hot. And the chemistry I am using, the developer for the paper is Kodak Dectol, and I am making the working solution right now. And I have to say, I'm really loving this developer. My prints are, the contrast that I so love is definitely there. I really love this. And yeah, I'm kind of jamming around, enjoying the music. My husband is actually playing the drums right next door. His music studio is right next to my darkroom, and I was really enjoying what he was playing. I really also encourage to have a really clean space. I'm constantly cleaning all my trays, the bamboo tongs, anything that I'm using, I clean. Cross-contamination is so easy, and yeah, if you have the time, definitely clean your work area. I'm checking my fixer, and if the droplets that I put in became somewhat cloudy, then it wasn't good. But in this case, nothing like that happened, so perfect to use. And this is the time I really make sure my doors are locked because I do not want anyone walking in here and ruining my paper. So this is just a demonstration of making the contact sheet. Now, maybe my method at first is a little on the lazy side, but I'll explain further why I say so. So when I'm making the test strip for this contact sheet, I leave my negatives in their plastic sleeve, and I will be demonstrating this. Normally, I would not suggest this as your final contact print, but let me just show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. So this is an example. I put first the photo paper, then my negatives on top. With the right aperture of the enlarger, I will make a test strip. I like doing a grid testing where I have two exposures. I'm using both the magenta and yellow. My enlarger is a color head, by the way, even though I'm working with just black and white. And this gives me the high contrast and low contrast. If you've ever made this grid style of test strip, then you know why I love it so much. It's such a fantastic method of getting perfect and rich details. It makes me deciding on my print so much easier. And this is kind of an example of what I got. So I cut my piece of paper in half, and I use half of the sheet for the test strip. This is what I had. I do 5 increments as I go, and I kind of like this middle area. It's pretty good, and this is what I decided on for the times, basing off of the middle area. Obviously, it looks really good with just one of the frames. The other ones is just too dark, so That's why it's a test strip, and we keep going. So once I feel really good about the times chosen for the test strip, I go back to the negatives, and this time I do take them out of the plastic sleeves. The only reason why I left them in the first place was just to prevent touching the negatives so much. I want to keep them nice and safe. That's why. And when I do take them out of the plastic sleeve, I always make sure to wear cotton gloves. I do not want to leave fingerprints on those negatives. And honestly, you do not have to do a split contrast method like I am for the contact sheet. It really isn't necessary. I just do it because I'm so used to it. This is what I do when I make my final print. But honestly, you can just do it the old traditional way of just when you do using one exposure. No biggie at all. I'm used to it. And oh my gosh, this is the moment that just inspires me to just keep going and working on the final print. Unfortunately though, I did not do it this same day because of the heat. It was just way too hot for me. But I'm so happy that I'm making the contact sheets again. There was a time where I just ignored this step due to just, honestly, time. And also, I didn't want to spend money on RC paper. I just wanted to save that for my fiber base. But I figured on the long run, it really did not save me time or materials. And I'll explain that further on why. So now it's time just to let them dry, and I will see you the next day. And that is now. So the contact sheets are dry, they are looking good. I still can't tell which one I'm going to work on, but something is just calling me for the image of Millah in the tree. I just love how it looks, especially when I see the darker image. It just gives me that magical, darker theme, and I'm all here for it. The camera that I used, by the way, for these photographs was the Rolleiflex T, which I've had for a couple of years now. I really love working with that camera. That's the camera I travel with. It's not that heavy. It's just a great little camera. I love it so, so much. And I do really encourage you, if you have not seen the video from last week, I recommend checking it out. You will see me on this photo shoot and me developing the film, which I think is pretty interesting. Although there were really some times that I wish I had brought my Mamiya just for those really close-up images of her that I could achieve with that camera. I feel like with the Rolleiflex, that's more of a better travel camera that you get. It's just a different vibe. I don't know if I can how I can explain that. I have to think about it a little bit more. And here she is. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to share this photograph with you guys. And the enlarger I'm using is a Bessler Dichro 67S, and I really love using this enlarger. I'm so grateful that I have it, and I appreciate it every time I use it. And I have to say, this next section is always so difficult, and I feel like with time, it doesn't get any easier. And what I'm doing is trying to focus the image, and it's pretty tedious. I don't know. I need to figure out a better way of doing this, or maybe my focus loop isn't that great, not sure. So I am adjusting the contrast. I always start with the magenta first at full blast, and this is to make the double exposure split contrast test strip. all my chemistry is looking real good. I don't know why, but it's such a great feeling. And let me show you the paper I'm using. I bought this Ilford glossy fiber-based paper. It's my go-to. I have been using it for so many years now, since I was in college, and I just love it. And college was about 10 years ago, or a little bit more. And this was really, really a challenging photograph to work with, and I still don't comprehend why. It was just really difficult to achieve. And right here, I'm noticing a spot on Milah's face, which I will have to re-clean the negative because it's just like a piece of lint on there or like dust that due to a dirty negative. So I just have to clean that again, and no biggie, it just takes a couple of minutes away from printing. But let me show you what I have. So don't criticize my test strip. It's not that great. It's looking pretty bad. It's not my best that I've made. And so basing off of that, this is what I chose with regard of times, and it's too dark and somewhat flat. So I decided to not use yellow, just to use magenta for the next image. And really my biggest challenge with this print was when I had to decide on how much I wanted to dodge Millah herself and burn the edges around her, just so I could manipulate the image the most I could to make it more intriguing. And I was having a pretty hard time with it. I do this a lot with my photographs, but for some reason, this one, I just couldn't get it right, and I was really struggling. So I have different variations of different times, and I was really hoping that once they dried, they would look slightly different, kind of going with what I was looking for, because when fiber-based prints dry, they do darken, so you always have to keep that in mind. And I am using Hypo Clear right now as this last step before their final wash. I used to use Hyco Perma Wash, but now that I live in Mexico, it's really hard to come across, and if I do find it, it's really expensive. And I will be doing this for the next couple of minutes, and what the main purpose of doing this is just guaranteeing that every surface of every silver gelatin print is getting some of that hypo clear, because the prints tend to stick to one another, which isn't ideal, and you'll actually be seeing me struggle with that in a little bit. So by doing this, I'm just making sure that every surface is getting that hypo clear, and I will be doing this for about 3 minutes. And this is the time I really criticize my work. I really see every little detail. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And I'm just getting the water tank ready. This is for the final water rinse for my prints. And man, I struggle with this every time I use it. But oh my gosh, look at the print. I think it's beautiful. I really, really love it. I love how the highlights around her just really embrace her. And I'm just so excited. And a little bit more about my water tank. So like the majority of the things in my darkroom, they were given to me because there was a time where film photographers were just trying to get rid of their darkroom equipment. They just didn't need it anymore. Or they either had a family member that was a film photographer and they just had their things stored in their home and they truly wanted just to get rid of it. So I got a lot of my darkroom equipment at a really, really good price or pretty much free. So although that is amazing, some of the equipment I have isn't in the best condition, and I really wish I was smarter on or more hands-on on fixing things And that's just something I struggle with, and I really hope that one day I become better in that sense. Because this water tank, I feel like something's off with it. I don't know if it's working like it should be. And yeah, I hope one day I figure it out, or maybe I'm just overthinking it, honestly, who knows. But I don't know if you guys relate with me on this. And I always take the time now that I have 20 minutes to organize my darkroom, but also to write notes, either on, well, mainly it's the printing notes. So the aperture, the enlarger was on, the notes on burning, dodging, on either the magenta or yellow that was used. All of this is just so in the future when I want to remake the same print, I have a cheat sheet pretty much. So that is really, really handy in the long run. And let me tell you, I have not had a squeegee so frustrating as this one here. I keep meaning to buy a different one. For some reason, this one I always get lint on my photograph. That's what I'm looking for, because even though I clean it as much as possible, I still get lint, and it's so frustrating. And yeah, if you ever can recommend me a different squeegee, please do. And they're set to dry, you guys. So like I said, I have different variations, different times, but I am really happy with some of these. I'm so excited. And also keep in mind to not leave any water droplets on there. I've done that in the past, and it's not that good. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being with me on print day, and I will see you shortly for more updated dry prints. Hey, it's Viviana, and welcome back to my darkroom. So the prints are definitely dry. This is the next day, and I mentioned how hot it's in here. It's extremely hot in my darkroom, and once I dried the prints, I thought, oh my gosh, they're gonna curl a lot. So be prepared for extra curling. I think. Okay, they actually look the same as always. So I had kind of a difficult time when printing yesterday, because I just felt like I wasn't achieving what I wanted. I think it did help that they darkened a little bit. Silver gelatin prints normally do darken, especially fiber prints, once they're dry. So you always have to take that in consideration. So when you're making the print, don't just base the image off of the exposure or the lighting it has in that precise moment, because it will darken. And I did keep that in mind, and I am pretty happy with how they turned out. I just can't decide which one I like more. And if I wanted to maybe possibly do more burning around the edges. I was trying to burn them, but it was somewhat difficult. It wasn't as easy as it normally is, and I'm not sure why. But let me just show you what we have. So obviously one of these has just like maybe a second or more time in general, and has less dodging on the person itself. Let's see what else we have. I have some that are very dark, so I'm kind of curious to see how those look. So this one is too dark, way too dark. Yeah, too dark. So that's a no. This one I really do like as well. It's just bugging me that this is a spot that I was trying to burn, and I just couldn't achieve it. I was having a really difficult time. Okay. last ones. Oh. Oh my. This one, I dodged way too much where she's at. You can really tell on her sweater. But I'm not gonna throw it away. Maybe I'll just keep it on my wall to always remember to not to dodge too much. And this one, it's too dark. It's too dark. I like it, but I'm not confident with it. Like, I wouldn't sell this print. It's too dark. That one's gonna be on the reject pile, and I think that's everything. I did keep my test strips. I'm taking like little breaks in between because I am sweating so much, and I'm sorry if that's too much information, but I left off at spotting the print. So when I was making the second test strip, I noticed on her face that there was like a little piece of lint right there. So of course I had to take the negative out, clean it again, put it in, and readjust like the enlarger aperture because I had to double check, make sure that the focus was still good, since I had to like do all of that. And so once I made sure the focus was as it should be, I put the aperture back to 8, which I believe is what I had the enlarger aperture at before cleaning the negative again. And I did get the lint taken off, but I didn't notice until much later that there was a little spot on the tree trunk. But it's not gonna be really difficult to spot at all. So that's gonna be good. I think I always say that. Yeah, that's a flaw in me. But I don't think it's gonna be that difficult, honestly. And let me just show you where that is. Now, I'm gonna give you some time to see if you can see it. All right, it's right there. That's the little piece. That's the little spot that I need to retouch. You may think it's not a big deal, but I really do recommend, if you see little spots like that in your prints, to retouch them. It really doesn't take that much time. And I am happy with the prints. I might look like I am not. I did have a different visual in my mind. I thought it would be slightly different. I kind of wanted to go for more of a darker theme. I thought she kind of looks like a little fairy, kind of in a tree, trying to come across as a human person, but she's really a fairy under normal clothing. And I just wanted to give it kind of that dark feel, you know, with a little bit of light around her, which is like the highlights behind her. And the only reason why I got that visual in my mind anyway was because of the contact sheet that I made. Let me grab them again. So when I made the contact sheet, I made 2 versions. One was lighter than the other. And let me show you the light one, which is this one right here. The image I worked on was in number 12, which is this one up here. And this is RC glossy paper, so it looks different. But this is the lighter one. This is something I did not want to achieve. I didn't want this. I don't want to say that it looked boring, but I just wanted more. So when I had this other contact sheet, I really loved it, which is this one right here, which is darker, but those highlights in the back are great, and they kind of make her also like just pop out more, you know? That's something I wanted to achieve. And that's what I was really trying to make happen. And I don't really feel like I did. And that's just the part where I'm just slightly disappointed. It's so funny how they look very similar, yet I can't decide. It might be the heat, I don't know. Okay, I think this is the one that I like the most. So overall, I I think I used about, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, about eight full pages of the fiber-based paper. And trust me, I would have kept going, have kept trying to achieve it, but I felt really guilty about using more paper. I paid about like, I think it was, actually I can't think of it right now because I pay more now for photo paper now that I live in Mexico for the shipping, and the cost is just a little bit more. So I can't remember, but I'll put it right here once I double check it. So I just felt like I didn't want to keep wasting paper. And that's a struggle, I think, for all artists. The cost of materials, you know, it's kind of sucks. But it really makes you focus so much and really put all of your self and attention into what you're creating. So I don't regret just doing film photography. Of course, I could have done this digital, and I think it's much more faster. But I wouldn't say it's much cheaper. I think digital is also really expensive. I only took 1 semester of digital in college, and oof, I was not good at it. So I think I kind of got off track there, but I just want to say that even though I may not look like I love what I created, I do really like it. I just think I need to look at it a little bit longer. Honestly, I really think I'm just tripping. Wait, I think this is crooked. Overthinking it way too much. I think it's beautiful. I do. I'm just imagining it retouched, that spot no longer there, matted, framed. I think it would be a beautiful print, and I'm already trying to think where I could put it in my house. Also, I might put it up in my shop, which brings me to the topic of my shop. I think last month started a new website, which I'm really, really proud of, but I was more hands-on with it. I feel like it's not fully at the capacity it should be. So I still have my Etsy shop, and I don't want you guys to be confused if you do check out my shop that I have 2. I just have 2 at the moment. So I might be adding this one on there. And all of my prints are signed, numbered, come with a certificate of authenticity. And I believe these I'm only going to have up to number 100. Obviously at the moment I only have about 3 good prints. So after I sell them or don't have them available any longer, I'll remake the prints to order. So that's how that's gonna work. And thank you so much for letting me ramble so much for these last, I think, almost 10 minutes. But so thank you for being here with me up to this point, and see if you'll stay a little longer for the rest of the video. And that's film photography right there. There's so many little tedious steps, but I love every part of it. Even when my darkroom is almost 90 degrees in here, I still love it. I might take the rest of this month, May, off of working in the darkroom. I might work with some alternative process, just anything that I can not be in here. Because even at night, it's extremely hot. So yeah, stay tuned. I might be working on some alternative process photography, which I haven't done in years, since I think the pandemic back in 2020. So yes, all right, let's keep at it. Also, it might sound really silly, but I just feeling so fancy and so cool because I finally invested more, and that's how it's going to be working, little by little, investing in this whole YouTube channel, which took me years to get the courage and just get out of kind of my comfort zone to be here with you guys and talk with you guys so much more than I normally would on like just social media like Instagram or TikTok. And every day it gets easier. Every day I'm enjoying it more, and hating myself for the things I say or do, like I'm just maybe just being awkward, you know. I'm really enjoying it, and I am so happy that I've invested a little bit more on here. And as you can tell, new little microphone, and that's so cool. I'm so excited. Also, I have a new phone, so the image is, I bet you've noticed the change if you've seen my older videos, that it's a little better. So yeah, that's awesome, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. I don't know why. It's just news that I'm very happy about, and I just want to share with you guys. All right, so let's keep going. And welcome to my home, you guys. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, awesome that you're in my house again. And honestly, my intention was to spot the rest of the photographs today, but I decided to end the day more on the earlier side and just enjoy being inside. That is a luxury that I never thought I would be able to have, which is being a full-time artist working at home. I value that every day, especially after working more than a decade in hospitality, being a waitress for so many years, doing something that I always just did on the side, which was my art, now is the main focus. It's just amazing, and I really hope I can keep doing this for many, many more years to come. And I'm really happy to share this with you guys as well, this little part of my life besides just the darkroom. And I'm trying to cool off, so I'm just gonna enjoy an iced coffee, a book that I'm just barely gonna start. But honestly, I only read a couple of pages because I remembered I had to go water the garden, which honestly, I can't complain. It's one of my highlights. It's the first time ever that I've had a garden to take care of. And it's a learning experience, and I really, really love it. And I just want to say thank you again for being here with me. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video, that it inspired you or encouraged you to go shoot that roll of film you've been waiting to do, and that you also learned something. That's awesome if you did, and I'm very, really happy to have you guys here with me. So until next time, bye.